In this episode, I come off the medical reserve bench and try to get caught up and bring you up to speed on the big moves that I've made in Atlas Earth this past week. And no, the title is not clickbait. I will go over what I've done and how my strategy has evolved with the recent beginnings of the challenge system, and exactly how I spent more than 20,000 Atlas bucks and what I got for it. If this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey, all you Atlas Earthlings, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here, bringing you a Atlas Earth update. And this is going to be one from my side as far as my strategy, what I've been doing lately, why I haven't been buying a lot of parcels, if any, since for a long time, describe what my strategy was going into November and how that strategy changed with the advent of the challenge system. And then we'll work through that. And as the title says, it's not clickbait. I did spend a bunch of Atlas bucks, and it took me quite a while to save those Atlas bucks up. But I wanted to explain my strategy, how I used them, what I got out of them. And then I will actually include a montage of me basically uncovering a bunch of parcels that I bought. And I'll include timestamps. So in case you don't want to watch that part, you can kind of skip over that if you want. But there are a lot of people that like to watch that. So, and right up front, before I do the montage, I will show you what my account looked like before the addition of all the parcels. And then at the end of it, if you want to skip over it, you don't necessarily want to see the rarities or anything, we will review what I got out of it and where I stand afterwards. You know, how many plots I have, what the parcel rarity was, and where I stand that way, and how much money I'm making after the parcel buy versus before. But before all that, if you're new to this and you were just searching around YouTube for a new game to play, possibly a new play-to-earn game to play, I cover a game here. It's called Atlas Earth. I cover a number of games, but this is one of the games I've been playing a lot lately. I've been playing for a little bit over 6.5 months now. I had to look at the date there. But 2 days over 6.5 months, and I've made almost $125 or so US. And I haven't spent any money specifically on buying parcels of land in the game, okay? So I will leave a link after this video and in the show notes if you want to check out what the game is all about, because I did a video here a while back that basically explained the game, how to play it, how to make money out of it, etc. It's basically you can make money out of the game by using your time. Can you spend money in the game? Sure. You can buy parcels, and there are various ways you can play the game, but you can also play it free to play like I'm doing. You know, play games, do surveys, use the AMP program. So there's a number of different ways you can play, and those vary depending upon where you live in the world, because different places around the world have different things available. So keep in mind when you're looking at the numbers that I'm looking at, I'm going from a US perspective, but if you're in a different country and playing, you're going to want to reference the chart that is applicable to your country. Now, a lot of the ideas we go over are much the same wherever you happen to be, but the numbers and where you do take certain actions will differ depending upon where you are. And also, if you decide you want to play, please use my referral code, which is in the show notes as well. If you start playing with the referral code, once you hit the 11th parcel, you will have gotten a free 200 Atlas bucks, which is basically 2 free parcels or 1 free badge, depending upon what you spend it on. And I get 100 out of that as well. So it's a win-win proposition with you getting twice as much as me. And if you're new, welcome. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps me out. Okay, let's go ahead and take a step back and do a little bit of a setup, because I'm going to describe what my strategy is. I've done a number of videos about it. We've talked about it, and if you frequent the boards about Atlas Earth on the Reddit or the Discord, a lot of people talk about the term of tier jumping. And your tiers and your boost percentages or multipliers are going to be different depending upon where you are in the world. However, a lot of times the thought process is the same. And this is a popular question people leave on my videos, is, hey, what's the deal with boost tiers, okay? And what's the deal with tier jumping, which comes down to the boost tiers. Now here, what we have is the tier chart from the Atlas Earth. You can go to the website and you can find it for your particular country under the help section. This happens to be the chart from the United States because that's where I live, that's where I play under. And you can see that on the left, the parcel zone go 1 to 150, 151 to 220, and so forth. So the idea is that you want to get to the maximum level of your tier without going over to help keep your boost. Okay, so for my very beginning point during the game, I got to 150 and I stayed at 150 for quite a while because I didn't want to lose that 30x boost. Now, when you go forward, you want to save up. The whole idea of tier jumping is saving up enough Atlas bucks to go ahead. You can see the max tier at the next tier for me would have been 220. Now, there is a point therein where it's called the break-even point, where it would be like 210, something like that, depending upon your rarity, the rarity of the actual parcels you have, that you could jump to and not lose money. But if I went, say for instance, I just bought one parcel over 150 and went to 151, I would go down to 20x boost, 20 times boost, and I would start losing money. So that's the whole basic idea. The idea to tier jump is to save up your Atlas bucks and jump forward so you're not losing any money. In fact, you are actually gaining money, okay? And also there's this side idea, how the math plays out is that as you go up in the number of parcels you buy, your boost times goes down. But what comes into much more importance now as you go up in tiers is the super rent boost that occurs a couple times a month. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you hit that 24/7, make sure you get all your SRB in, and that's where you start making your extra money. Okay, so with that said, and that's the basic premise of what my my process and my strategy was going to be. And I also have a link to Tasty Wallet's guide on this, which I've followed. Great guide. No point in rewriting it. He does the math. He's much better at math than I am. You can follow his guide, and that's basically what I was doing. So I went to 150, and then I went to 220. And if you've been following me, you've seen my videos on this. And I sat at 220. In fact, when I hit 220, it was the end of August, like August 30th, 2024. So it's in November now. So it's been quite a while since I bought any parcels. But what have I been doing? My whole objective was to do a tier jump and save up the Atlas bucks to go ahead and do my tier jump. Okay, so my next tier would have been 290. But in my particular area, I saw that somebody was sitting right below. The next tier above that would have been 365. The mayor of my area was sitting at 362. I don't know why they were sitting at that weird kind of number right below the cap, but they were. And they were sitting there for quite a while, and there was no movement in their account, and that's all the parcels they had. So the thought occurred to me, well, if I go ahead and tier jump to 290, that's going to tip my hat, and that's going to let that person see that I'm moving in on them. So the strategy part of my brain kind of kicked in, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tip my hat too early. Okay, so the next portion of this process, I started thinking, I'm like, well, what if I went to 365? Well, that would put me in the lead. That would give me the mayorship of this area, but I would only have mayorship by like 3 parcels. And if they went ahead and got their 3 parcels, we would be tied. And I'm not quite sure what happens if 2 people are tied in an area with the most amount of parcels of land. Who's the mayor? Is it shared? Does nobody have it? I'm not sure. But stick around. I'll probably be finding that out soon. But I don't want to give anything away. So that led me to believe, well, what's the next tier above that? 435. Okay. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of Atlas bucks, because I was doing the math and I'm like, from the point I was at 220, it would have been over 20,000 Atlas bucks to get where I needed to be, right? So I'm like, well, maybe if I made 2 full tier jumps, but didn't quite make that full 3rd tier jump and just jump to break even, that would put me sufficiently ahead of the person that was currently mayor. and I would have the mayorship. Okay, so that was my plan, and I was ready. I was ready to go into November and do it. But then what happened? This new addition to the game, which is the challenge system. And as you know, if you've been playing along, the new challenge system has a section that is buy parcels. So you have level 1 through 4 of buy parcels. The first level is buy 1, and then you have to unlock the second level, which is buy 5, and then the third level, I forget, but it goes up from there, right? So I'm like, well, how can I do my tier jumps and try to get credit in the challenge system for those at the same time? Well, obviously I couldn't just go out and just buy all my parcels like I would have and just did all 3 jumps all at the same time. So I had to strategically plan. So what I did was at the beginning of November, I did the first tier and the second tier of buy parcels because I had done some other challenges so that whenever I finished off the buy 1, then the buy 5 popped up. So I finished that. But that left me wanting to, having to wait to go ahead and hit that third tier of buy parcels, which was 25. Okay. So what I ended up doing was before I even did this, I did the math, which was 435 minus 25, which was 410, right? So I wanted to leave a gap there so I would not go over my tier limit at 435, but still allow 25 parcels so I could go ahead and accomplish the third level of buy parcels. I had already written off the fourth level buy parcels because I'm not going to make it to that in November. It's just not going to happen. But I'm happy getting the points for the first, second, and third level. So how did it turn out? Well, I did the first tier and the second tier or level of buy parcels. I had jumped up to 410. And the person that was mayor, I had taken over mayorship. I was like, yes. I was out walking around my yard buying parcels, which you'll see. And you'll actually see, if you pay attention, you'll actually see me gain mayorship. But I only gained mayorship for like 5 minutes because the person that had it took it back because they saw I was making moves. They jumped on and either they had saved up Atlas bucks or they bought some and they outdistanced me. So I wanted to stop at 410, which is what I did specifically because I needed that 25 cushion there to accomplish level 3 of buy parcels. Well, they blew past me and they blew up to see, I believe like 430 or something like that. And that's where they sat. But I wanted to keep my strategy. It's fine, you know. So what happened was it took about a week to a week and a half, about 7 to 10 days or so between when I made my first move to 410 and when I could go ahead and I was able to do a few mini games and things like that and a bunch of other challenges to unlock the buy parcels level 3 challenge. And then once I unlocked that, I went out and bought my 25 parcels. I jumped ahead of them. I took over mayorship again, and thus far, across my fingers, for what good it's done me, I've retained mayorship, but they're slowly walking up on me like 1 parcel a day. They're like earning enough to buy 1 parcel a day. So we'll find out. I'm sitting at 435. So they have to make, they're like 433, I think now. They'll have to make the decision. Do they go ahead and break tier and lose money, but retain get their mayorship back? I don't know. We'll see it. I think that this is a person, since all their parcels are in this area, that they live in this area. So it might be just a constant battle back and forth between us. But like I said, for what good it's done me, I've been mayor for, 5 days now, and I haven't got credit for any badge purchases. So okay, with all that said, hope it wasn't too boring, but I wanted to set it up and give you an idea of what I was shooting for, what my strategy was, why I was doing it, how long it took me, how many months it took me to save up that. And yeah, I mean, at the end, I ended up spending like 21,500 Atlas bucks on all this. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, first, we're going to take a look at where I stood before. Then we're going to go into a montage of me uncovering all of these parcels, which is over 200 somewhere. And then at the end, we're going to take a look at where I currently stand and what I'm making compared to what I did previously. Stand by, or if you don't want to look at the montage, just use the timestamps below and skip forward. Okay, so here we are over on the Atlas Earth calculator, which if you're relatively new to the game, you can find a link in the show notes to use it, but it's pretty handy. You can input all your details about how you currently are in the game, and it will give you some advice and tell you a few metrics. Either way, I wanted to take an initial look at this to show you where I started before I go ahead and do the parcel buy. I've been at this level for since the end of August, and it's just went into November currently. So I've been saving for this parcel buy for quite a while. But you can see I've been sitting at the 220 mark. You can see that I am slightly below average in commons and epics, but slightly above average in rares and legendaries. And this was a question in a recent comment section that people ask, hey, what's the red mean and what's the white mean over here? This means that you're below average if it's red, and then if it's white, it means you're above average. So that's all that means. And it tells you a few other things, but I mainly wanted to look at how many parcels I had, how many badges I have over here. I have 31 currently, so I'm sitting in the 15% badge boost. Now, if we go down here, we will see that I'm currently at an average of about 66 US cents per year. And with all things considered, that comes out to be a little bit more than $240 a year. So I wanted to take a look at this before I went and did anything, so we could take a look and make a comparison afterwards. Okay, that was a pretty wild ride. All in all, I came out a little bit below average on most things except for legendaries, and I'm slightly above that. So we'll take a look at the numbers in a minute. But you can see I amassed it all around basically my home here, and I am the mayor now. Um, so I have a pretty large piece of property in our area. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Atlas Earth calculator, wrong page. Okay, so now where you can see where I'm at now. 200 and actually, let me go back. We can go ahead and make sure these numbers line up here. 229 common, 129 rare, 55 epic, and 22 legendary, and that leaves me at the cap of this tier, which is 435. You can see that I'm slightly below average on common, rares, epics, but slightly above average on legendaries. Let's go ahead, and you can also see that overall for the last 6.5 months I've made just over $131. Okay, so not doing too pretty, not doing too bad rather. And I'm at the 15% boost for badges, which I have input on the Atlas Earth calculator. And if you're relatively new to the game or just starting, I'll leave all the applicable links we're talking about here are in the show notes, so you can check them out. This is a very handy calendar. I don't make it all credit, and I always have to go down to the bottom here. All credit to Matt Smith, who apparently made this and upkeeps it. So thanks for this great calculator. But what I wanted to go over is versus what we saw at the beginning before we looked at the parcel turnovers. Now I'm at 435 parcels. On average, I'm making 77 cents per day, or just over $281 per year. And if we bring up the chart here again, you can see that I jumped from 220, or the 20x boost, which including super rent boosts was about $233.50 up to about $280 a month. So a significant jump. But keep in mind, like I said, as you go up, because this is a frequent topic of conversation with people, as especially newer people, as you get more parcels, your boost goes up, or your boost goes down rather, and that increases the importance of hitting your SRB at all times when it is active. So either way, it's fun moving forward in the game, and this was a big move for me this week. Like I said, it took quite a while to amass those Atlas bucks, and I've been basically doing everything in game besides outright purchasing them. I've been doing a lot of buying salads at Salad Works to get the amp bonus. I've been doing a lot of playing games and the surveys when they're on and everything. So I've been basically doing everything except for, and even with the new challenges, I'm more active than what I was, which is like one of the initiatives from the team for doing that, right? To get people more active and everything. I have been playing the mini games, although I play them just enough to get credit for the challenges, and I don't go because I'm terrible at them. I still hate them, and several of them really make me bang my head against the wall. But I've been getting credit for it in the challenges, and everything else has helped me accrue, especially those who are using my referral code. Thanks, you know who you are, appreciate it. Either way, let me know how you're doing and what you think of my strategy and how this turned out. And, I'll keep filling you in. My next strategy is just to work on the next tier jump and go from there, and I'll let you know when that happens. Otherwise, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone is doing well in your November challenges. Let me know how you're doing in the comments, and hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.